Hey everybody, it's Doc. Welcome to the channel, and this is my 2023 GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate, and I have about 30,000 miles on it, about a year and a half worth of ownership, and it's all been good so far, up until now. And I'm going to give you an update on how it's going, and it's a little bit of a dichotomy today because in this video I'm going to tell you how great this vehicle is, how much I love it, but first I'm going to tell you, don't buy it. Unlike most YouTubers that put out some clickbait like I just did, don't buy it, and tell you to wait till the end of the video, I'm going to tell you up front. And then if you want to watch the rest of the video, you can. I really do like this vehicle. I bought it in October 2023. Around April 2024, GM announced that there was going to be a recall on a lot of their trucks. We're talking 600,000 vehicles ranging from 2021 through 2024. And to be honest, I wouldn't even buy one that's built after this because I don't think they've probably fixed the problem. So we're talking Cadillac Escalades, Chevrolet Silverados, Chevy Suburbans, Chevrolet Tahoes, GMC Sierras, and Yukons and Yukon XLs. And what the deal is that, and I'm reading this so I get my facts right, is that there is an issue with the 6.2 liter L87 V8 engine, and it has to do with the connecting rod and crankshaft components. Either they're defective or they were dirty when they were put together, which leads to bearing failures, and basically without warning the engine will grenade on you without any warning at all. It's resulted in 12 accidents, 12 injuries. There is now a class action lawsuit against GM, which is good, and I'll tell you why I'm really mad about it. Yeah, I get it, there are recalls that happen, but GM is handling this one really poorly. So basically, you know, their fix, and their fix is not replacing the engine. You're supposed to contact your dealer. You take your truck in to get evaluated. If it passes the evaluation, what they'll do is, well, if it fails the evaluation, you get a new engine, okay? If it passes the evaluation, then they say, their quote is that they will provide you with a different oil cap, a different type of oil that should help with the issue, and a new oil filter, okay? And so I took mine in. I took mine in to have it evaluated, and you know, they're like, yeah, your engine's okay, and you're good, we changed the oil, here's your bill. Okay, well, I was due for an oil change anyways. My bill comes back, and instead of the usual $85, which I think is obscene to begin with, it turns out to be $180. So basically what's happening with GM is they built a crap engine that is unreliable. They come up with a Band-Aid fix, an expensive Band-Aid fix, and I'm expected every 5,000 miles to pay $100 extra for my oil change for their Band-Aid fix. And that really makes me angry. So I hope the class action lawsuit works out because I'm pretty upset about this. They're claiming that basically the GM, the Yukons and you know, all the Silverados and all that stuff, they're claiming that they have decreased value. The dealers won't take them on trade anymore. The new GMs that are still capable of having it, they won't give people extended warranties. That doesn't affect me because I bought an extended warranty right out of the chute. So I'm good for 60 months and 60,000 miles. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm a little bit worried about the unreliability because I don't travel on the best roads and I don't want this thing grenading on me and leaving me stuck. So that's a little bit of an irritant. And then on top of it, you know, when it comes time to trade in, you know, I'll have spent $2,000 extra in service fees, you know, which you think that's not much over 5 years, or 60,000 miles. That's a new set of tires. That's 2 new sets of tires probably, and then you know they'll give me less for it because they built a piece of junk in the first place. So that said, let's do the walk around, and I'll tell you why I actually still love this vehicle. Okay, so here it is, and it's an attractive looking vehicle. I keep calling it a truck. My wife keeps reminding me that it's an SUV and I shouldn't call it a truck, but to me, it's a truck. I use it like a truck and it's pretty awesome. I use it for my daily commute. Well, let me rephrase that. I did use it for my daily commute, but I was putting so many miles on it that I ended up buying a RAV4 plug-in hybrid to pick up some of the miles, and it's been a really good vehicle. I've talked about that before. We'll do a little bit more of a video on that, talking about all of the cool tech that's in it that makes it such a cool vehicle. But let's stick with the GMC today. And you know, I gotta say that in the last 40 years, I have always had a GM product in my garage. You know, everything from a Fiero to a Camaro to generations of pickup trucks. And this is the third Yukon I've had. This is the second Denali Yukon I've had. And this is probably the best vehicle. I mean, to be honest, aside from the engine issues, if there was only one vehicle that I could have for the next 15 years that I would need to cover all of my needs, this would probably be the vehicle I'd pick because it's just that good. We'll do a little walk around. So the ultimate package, this is a $100,000 vehicle. Again, the most expensive new vehicle I've ever personally purchased. I've purchased a few more expensive exotic used vehicles, but nothing ever new. It's like, so it was around 100 grand when I got it, and it's, you know, it's been really good. The ultimate package, this is a special pearl white. It was an option. I think it was about a $1,500 option. There is the black chrome that is the hallmark of the ultimate package, and the wheels, which I think have maybe expanded into other lineups now, so they may not be as exclusive, but I really do like those wheels, and I don't usually like kind of chromy, shiny wheels. I really like the pearlescent white on this vehicle, and one of the things I did do when I bought it was I did have it ceramic coated, and that's been good. It is probably cleaner than it normally is. I've got a lot of bugs in the front, and with the ceramic coating, it does make it pretty easy to clean those off, although they don't completely disappear when I go through the drive-through car wash. But taking the walk around, you know, again, it's really, I think, a really attractive vehicle. It's one of the better looking generations of the Yukons, I think. And I use it all year round. What I do is, in the wintertime, I've got a set of AT4 studded snows that I put on it. And again, it's been a really solid vehicle. I get about 18 miles a gallon, give or take, with it, which is really good considering what it is. And it's just, you know, again, it's my favorite vehicle. I will drive this thing across the country any day of the week, and I can lock in the Super Cruise. I can take my hands off the wheel. I can, you know, drink my water, have a little snack, whatever I want to do, as long as I keep my eyes forward. It will pretty much take care of most of the drive, and I can do that even with the trailer on it, which is really nice. The only thing with the trailer is when you hook that up, Super Cruise won't do the automatic lane changes, which isn't a big deal because I don't usually use them anyways. Let's take a look at the inside. We'll start with the back. And again, you know, this is, you're looking at it how I use it. It's a little bit cleaner than it normally is because we live on gravel. It's summer, it's dusty, it's buggy. There is no way this thing's ever going to be really all that clean, and I use it for work, so it is what it is. And the cargo area is really nice. There is a third seat under there, and then also under here, there's a little storage area, which I have packed with essentials, mostly emergency essentials as far as some recovery stuff, some things to change wheels, and a little bit of other stuff like that. There's an air compressor. Actually, I've got a new little air compressor that I have on the side here. It's a little battery operated thing from Amazon. It's like, I want to say 70 bucks. It has kind of changed how I use air compressors, because literally I don't use my big air compressors. I don't use my little air compressors. I don't use my power tank anymore because this stupid $80 Chinese thing has pretty much occupied all those spaces as far as my needs. And then behind here, you can see that I've got a 12 volt power point wire. It's hardwired directly to the battery, and the reason for that is I run my ARB fridge off of that, and it stays on all the time. It's got its own internal sort of gauges so it doesn't drain the battery, and it works really well. That item is over 10 years old, and it's probably one of the best purchases I've ever made as far as things, accessories for vehicles. You can see on the mat is WeatherTech, and it's a really good mat. Actually, the mats on the inside in the front are from my 2019 GMC pickup truck, and they just slipped right in, so that was kind of cool. And then over here, you got this stupid little Amazon net that I have that I just throw little pieces of stuff into so it's not cluttering up the interior. And then over here I got my first aid kit. We'll walk around to the front. We'll talk about the captain's chairs in the back. Also, this vehicle does have the option where you can kick underneath the bumper and the door will supposedly open. I've never reliably gotten it to do that. So let's take a peek at the back. And then, this interior is exclusive to the Ultimate. I didn't think that I would love a brown interior, but I really do. It's really good. Again, there's my pickup truck mats. There's my little safe that I keep some valuables in, and it just, keeps people honest, I guess. And then I've got a little bucket, sort of expandable bucket in the middle that collects junk, primarily straps for tying stuff down. There's my gloves. One thing I didn't love about this truck when I bought it was, in order to get Super Cruise, I had to buy this $2,000 package with monitors in the back and headphones and stuff like that. And quite honestly, it was a waste of money. I wish they would come up with a package for Super Cruise that doesn't have that. I do like the big panoramic sunroof, and it opens up nice and big. It doesn't open up all the way, but it really does light up the cabin, and then I can close it too if the sun gets too bright, which is really nice. The captain's chairs, that again, that's one of those things where if I had the option, I think it is an option with Yukons, that you can buy the bench seat in the back. You can delete for a no cost delete for the captain's chairs. I probably would have done that just because when I put them down, I got this big gap in the middle, and usually I'm sliding a lot of stuff into the cab or into the cabin, and I would prefer that I just had a big flat spot there, not a big gap in the middle. But they are comfy. They're heated. I don't think they're ventilated. And in the back, the person in the back, which is usually my daughter, does have some controls for the temperature. There's some HDMI hookups which would go directly to the monitors, and so you can hook up games if you want to. Again, that's not something that we do. And overall, this cabin is really comfy. You'll notice that the center console is backed all the way out, and I'll show you up front here in a minute. That's a really nice feature because it gives me a little cubby in the front to throw stuff as well. There's vents up here. There's vents back there. And again, very well appointed, very well thought out. GM did a really, really good job with that. So there's a couple of features I really do like. I like the capability of pushing the button and locking the doors. I do like the running boards that pop down. I've never been a real big fan of that, but they've been pretty reliable, and I can't complain. Haven't had any problems with them yet. Then we have the doors and the storage area in the vehicle, which I like a lot. I mean, I really like the way everything GM is set up as far as organizing the infotainment, organizing the instruments, and basically making everything very intuitive that pretty much any idiot could operate it. But again, I like the storage in the doors. You can put a bottle of water there. You can put, I keep my manuals here. I keep my information there if the police pull me over as far as insurance and registration. And it just works well. And here I have my little microfiber cloth to wipe off the infotainment center if it gets all fingerprinted, which it does quite often. And then down here we have the controls for the fog lights, for the modes for four-wheel drive, high and low, stuff like that. I was a little bit disappointed that in this package for my $100,000, I didn't at least get a rear locking diff, but that's probably not the clientele that they're selling to anyways. Again, I do like the brown interior. I didn't think that I would, but I've really kind of fallen in love with it. And then something else to be noted on the side is, this has heated, ventilated, massaging seats, and they're awesome. One little pro tip, if you have the massaging seats, is you don't have to reset it every time with this. If you just want to go straight to massage, you push this button to engage it, and you can also push this button to turn it off. And it'll take you right back to the last setting that you had, which is pretty handy. And I like the massage feature. I use it a fair amount. Again, the steering wheel, here's the Super Cruise button, and it works really well. If you have not experienced Super Cruise, so far it's my favorite. I haven't tried the newest version of Tesla full self-driving, but Super Cruise works with towing, which I still don't think that Tesla Autopilot does. So, and not that you could tow far with a Tesla anyways. We get in here, we've got the center console, which is kind of nice that it will all cover up. So if you're in the city and you don't want anybody to see any potential valuables that you have sitting in your center console, you can cover them up. There's a nice mix of dials and infotainment. Let's see if I can turn this on here. There we go. And then we've got our dash. There's numerous different dash styles that you can choose from. This is one I like, and you can see that currently. And you can see that currently I'm getting 18.2 miles a gallon. I get about 380 miles range with a tank. It looks a little bit lower, but that's because I just got back from a trip with a trailer and I was getting 12 miles a gallon. So it hasn't quite re-equilibrated itself, I guess would be the appropriate term. And then here I was telling you about the center console, which when it goes back, one, you have access to this little secret cubby here with it, if you want to hide your weed or whatever. I keep my sunglasses, my pocket knife in there, and that's about all it's really worth. But this little area is really nice. Any woman who carries a purse will tell you that they want a place to drop their purse. My wife loves it here, and actually I carry a man purse too, so I keep stuff in it that I like to keep nearby. And then we've got some cup holders back there. So really nice. There's center console, which again, nice little detail is the fact that it's got a little light in it. And you can see that I keep, Tylenol and Tic Tacs. That's what everybody should have in their vehicle. Up here we have the controls for the sunroof and for the rear hatch. The rear hatch is very nicely put right there. So boom, and I open the rear hatch, unlike my Toyota, which I have to go fishing under the dash and hold the button for like half a minute to get the rear hatch to open up. And then, pretty standard GM-ish glove compartment. We just use it for keeping cables in. And then again, pockets, more wet ones because we have dirty hands. And up here, this is kind of nice. I don't use it a lot, but there is a rear camera in the mirror. I primarily use it when I have so much stuff stacked up in the back that I can't see out the back at all. But I've so used to driving a pickup truck with tinted windows and a topper that I can't see out the back anyways. So I don't use that much, but pretty handy. And then one of the other things, I've pointed this out before, that I drive into the sun every day, and this is like 15 bucks on Amazon. It's just this stupid little screen that you can pop down, which does a really nice job in almost, you know, if you had dark sunglasses on, except you don't have to take them on and off, and you can adjust the height of it. I wish they made a higher quality version of it. Like I used to have one in my FJ Cruiser that was thick plexiglass, and it was tinted, and it was something that they primarily have in aircraft. I wish someone would make that for this because it's pretty cool. It wouldn't be a tour of the vehicle without a look under the hood. There is that troublesome L87 6.2 liter V8, which by all means you should avoid at any cost. And it's too bad because this is a really, really, really nice vehicle, and it just makes me sick to think that I could be driving this down the road and it might grenade on me and leave me stuck somewhere. And what irks me the most is the fact that GM stuck me with the bill every time that I get the oil changed. I have to pay an extra $100 to cover their Band-Aid fix for their lousy engineering, and every person, all 600,000 of us that have affected vehicles, we're all getting stuck with a bill. So again, I can't recommend this vehicle, even though I love it to death, because GM sucks and they're not treating their customers right. So by all means, avoid this, don't buy one. And I don't know what else you're gonna buy, because I don't think there's anything really that comparable on the market that's as good as this. Maybe pick the one with the diesel powertrain. I don't know if that's much better, but nonetheless, sorry to end on a sour note, but I'm pissed off. You guys have a great day. We'll see you out there.